Adebayo.
With you there, but if you're a coach, do you take that chance?
Yes.
You can reach us at the Off the Record Show at gmail.com. Anthony Adebayo and the most accurate sports coverage. Scotty B's Fantasy 5.
We're different from any other sport.
His sophomore year. Comes back and says, you know what?
And your boy, Scotty B.
What's going on, fellas?
What's going on, man? Oh, man. I'm back.
Yeah, I just feel like it's just been a long week already.
It has been a long week. Today's Wednesday.
Okay.
Today is Wednesday, July 12th. Welcome to Off the Record. I'm Anthony Adebayo.
It's your boy, Scotty B.
All right, now that we got all of that out there.
Yeah.
You gotta, be somewhat professional at times. Of course, the trains come in when we're recording. Of course, because they're rude. But nonetheless, how your week been? Or your weekend?
Man, my week has been long. It has been long. But like, and I think it's Murphy's Law, right? Right before you're about to go on vacation, it just seems like your job or your place of employment just try to work the living crap out of you.
Absolutely.
Up until it's your time to go. But nah, man, just excited, man. Excited that about to go on vacation. Man.
Where you going?
Going to Orlando, man.
I went to New Orleans. That was my little vacation.
Okay.
So had a blast. I had some different types of food. I ain't never in my life had like alligator tails. Jones.
Yo, I had some alligator jerky. One time when I was out there. We had messed around and did like the little like where you be with the swamps and
the tour.
Yeah. They had some alligator jerky out there. I was like, okay, that's all right. You know what I mean? But I haven't had none since. So that was a while ago.
And it was an appetizer. So half was fried, half was grilled. Yeah, I was like, yo, this is good. So I had that. Of course, you go to New Orleans, you got to have a beignet. I feel like I ate the most shrimp in a weekend that I have ever in my life.
You have a po' boy?
I didn't have a po' boy, but I had shrimp and grits for I think I had like 2 or 3 times. I had gumbo.
And that's pretty much like you telling me, like, yo, you can't go to New Orleans and not have gumbo. Like you have to.
I've had gumbo. I had gumbo every day I was there. So we got there Thursday. Thursday. By the time we got there, we couldn't find nowhere to really get nothing to eat. Actually, crazy story. Check into the hotel, come out trying to go to the casino, right? So we get outside. There's a lady walking around with a propane tank, and I'm like, what is going on right now? And but she was going to set up from her car to they was right next to the hotel,
right?
And she was doing she was cooking.
But you know what though, that's some wild stuff, right? Because a propane tank as heavy as I don't know what.
Yeah, she was carrying it with 2 hands, but it was still like, dang,
I mean, it's one of those things that you can carry, but you don't want to really go too far of a distance with it. You like, dang.
Yeah, and it was and because I was just like, why does she have a propane tank? But the irony was when the casino, all the food places was closed, of course I didn't know, but we could have walked up the street. It would have been some food, but she was right there. We walked out of the casino, and she was making boils and frying shrimp, frying fish.
I bet it was good too.
Oh, it was
right?
great. It was
yeah.
So, it was great.
So sometimes that's the best thing. But let's get into it, man. So did you watch the All-Star game last night?
I did. I watched the last 3 innings.
That's all you really need to watch.
Right.
So, I mean, National League got a victory.
Finally.
Yeah. So what was it? It's been like 9 years, or I think
11.
it was like
It's
2012 since the
Yeah,
last
it's
time.
been a minute.
Yeah, that they won. But yeah, that's enough about that.
Damn. That's it.
I mean, that's it. It ain't
Do
really
do you trade Ohtani?
No. So it's two different perspectives, right? So a lot of people feel like that he's going to leave. A lot of people also feel that maybe we don't know if he gets much better, right? You know what I mean? Like
He can get better.
no, he can't get better.
I think he can get better.
You think he can get better?
Absolutely.
Well, and I'm not going to dispute either or. I think that right now what we're seeing is just mind blowing. Just the type of baseball that he's playing. I personally would hold on to him, but a lot of people feel like with Trout hurt, and then you got him that's hurt, and then I think Rendon is hurt as well. They don't think that they're going to be able to make a push. So if he leaves, then you get nothing for him.
Right. And let's be honest, it's probably a high probability of him leaving, you know. And so I think they're in a tough spot because the thing is, if you trade Ohtani, you might as well trade Trout, right? And I think that you can get. I don't know if you get more compensation for Ohtani now than you would in a year, 2 years, 3 years. You're always going to get compensation for him because he's that good of a player. But like right now, you probably could get absolute most compensation, whether it's prospects, a ton of, you're going to get a ton of prospects, picks, and some veterans.
So I guess that's the smart move. But I look at the Angels like this, right? They've got two generational talents. Just generational
and
talent.
It's weird to me that
they can't win anything.
It's so weird. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's just, I get it. Like, you know, they've tried their best to surround them with
they ain't tried their best. I feel like they could have done more. They could have gotten better pitching throughout the years. They could have gotten even before Ohtani, they could have gotten some help around Mike Trout. They haven't really. I mean, they got Rendon, right? They got him after the Nationals, but
let's be honest with Rendon, right? He's when he was with the Nationals, he'll always be a DC hero, right? You know what I mean? He was part of that World Series team, but the reality of it is he's probably an average, maybe above average third baseman. Like, he's not.
I can't disagree.
Yeah. He's not going to get it done. I mean, he's got a little bit more of a good reputation because he was on a World Series team, and I don't think he's trash or anything like that. But he's not Manny Machado. He's not. Trying to think of some of the other third basemen that are out there.
I mean, it's a ton, but no, I get that. So what do they do?
I think you have to ride the season out, right? So you've got to figure out, you know, with all your pieces, even if they're hurt, you owe it to Mike Trout. You owe it to both of them to just ride out. People are going to say that that's the dumb decision, but I really think that they're kind of stuck, man.
Well, I mean, here's the thing. You keep those two guys, you would think baseball ain't really like football or basketball, mainly basketball. You know, you have a star, people want to come play with them. You would think that people would want to come play with Trout and Ohtani, but then you think about it, they play in California, and the taxes are probably ridiculous, right? So if you trade those guys, they could do what, because you gotta remember 2010, 2011, the Astros were terrible. They were absolutely terrible. I want to say it was 2012 is when they drafted Bregman and what's the other one?
Otuve,
Otuve, Altuve, and all of those guys.
Carlos Correa.
Yeah, so all of those guys came within a year of each other, and I want to say it was like 2011, 2012, 2013, and they had them and they built up the farm system, and then they want to work. I mean, Houston's been a powerhouse in the league the last 7 years.
But that's the thing right there, right? Is it's all about prospects in baseball, and it's all about developing your farm system. So to your point, you're right. You can go out there and get picks, but if you don't have a good enough farm system, it doesn't matter. Like you can have all the picks in the world. It just isn't going to equate to success. And I think we talked about that a little bit last week when we were talking about the Wizards. And I'm not going to relive that because we talked about that a lot. But the point I think is well received is you can have the picks, but if you don't have an eye for talent or you can't develop the talent, that's the big thing. So I think anybody that plays professional sports, you have to have some sort of talent, right? You just don't not have talent, but can your organization get the most out of that person and it fits whatever that organization is trying to do? All right, so I do got to ask some questions, and we hadn't really talked about it. Well, we talked about it a little bit, but we've kind of skimmed over it. The Damian Lillard situation. All right, what's going on, and what like?
Whoa! Wait a minute! You asking me like I'm some sort of insider or something?
Nah, but we got to talk about it because it's not weird, but I do see a possible Ben Simmons situation.
Explain that.
So
I don't see that.
So the reason why I'm going to use Ben Simmons is not talent-wise, and not that Damian Lillard is going to drop off with his talent, but Portland is in a unique situation where they don't have to get a deal done. And I think we talked about it last week that the right thing to do would be to get a deal done, but they're not in a position to where they have to rush to get a deal done. So what they're, and it was the same with Philadelphia, right? They didn't have to rush to get a Ben Simmons deal done. Right. They could almost call Damian Lillard's bluff, right? And what I mean by that is, does he potentially hold out, or like really have to take extreme measures to get what he wants? They don't have to trade him to Miami, even though that's his preferred destination, and they could just really honestly see what he's going to do. Like, how long is he going to hold out? Is he going to come?
He's not going to hold out.
I don't believe he's going to hold out either.
So here's the thing. I think that a deal gets done. I do feel like there's going to be multiple teams. Don't be surprised if like a team like the Pacers. I said something about the Pacers, I think either a week or two ago, that the Pacers are going to be really good this year. You have teams. Don't be surprised if you see an OKC involved in this Damian Lillard whole thing. It's gonna be a huge trade because Miami doesn't have enough to just do a one-on-one trade. Now, and if I was Portland, I'm sitting back. What do you have to offer? I'm not doing the work for them. And Pat Riley, if I'm not mistaken, I want to say Pat Riley has the biggest trade, like a 5-team or 6-team trade that he completed. So if anybody could get it done, it's Pat Riley, right? So they're gonna get Damian Lillard, and they're gonna be able to get guys to come play there for the vet minimum or whatever it is that they got to play for.
So let me ask you this: if you're Miami,
right,
you got the possibility of getting Dame. But do you have to get that deal done?
Do you have to get the deal done?
Yeah.
Miami?
Yeah.
Absolutely. They got rid of their backcourt. they don't have a choice. They have to get that deal done. It has to get – Miami has to get Damian Lillard. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. They got to get that done. It is no I think that we can hold off, or wait a year, or no, it has to get done before camp starts. I mean, the good thing is, you're in summer league now. I tell you what, and we haven't spoke about it. It's some ball players in the summer league. It's some ball players, but in regard to Damian Lillard, it's gonna get done. It's gonna be more than just Miami. The funny that you say that. Don't be surprised if Ben Simmons is part of that trade.
So
Yeah.
let's go to Ben Simmons. Is his career done?
No. Ben Simmons is like 26. Why? No. His career is nowhere near done. He's going through a rough patch. Will he ever be all pro again? Now that I don't know. I think that he's more likely to be an all defensive guy than an all pro, or all NBA or whatever. I think that I don't think that his career is. Oh no way. I tell you what, if he gets out of his own head, he can become an all-star again. I mean, because you can't teach 6'10" point guard. You can't.
So what's happening is the way that it depends what his situation is.
Mm-hmm.
He has to be surrounded by shooters. If he's not surrounded by shooters, he's going to be unable to space the floor. And that's ultimately what's
that's always been his.
Well, that's ultimately what put him in the predicament he was in this season. Is once they lost Kyrie, once they lost Durant, his ability to operate. I mean, teams were just basically playing off of him and collapsing, and because there was nobody to space the floor, it kept him honest. So you look at teams that can use them. Who has great shooters that can use them?
Well, Portland got some good shooters.
Okay, so Portland has good shooters. Possibly, and I know, like, I don't know the circumstances with him and Jimmy Butler when they were in Philly.
Mm-hmm.
Could he possibly play for Miami?
Miami is the one team that could fix him.
How could Miami fix him? Please do explain.
So Miami has a culture, right? Well, here's the thing. Here's the main thing. They don't want you to do anything that you're not comfortable doing, right? So the main thing in Miami, you gotta play defense. Everybody knows that Ben Simmons is an elite defender. He is what he is, right? Now he doesn't have all the pressure of he needs to be the best player on the team. He doesn't even need to be the third best player on the team. He just needs to be a guy. And I think that in that situation, they'll have shooters, especially if Dame happens to be there too. You can put him at different places, different positions on the floor. He could definitely be successful in Miami.
So I hadn't thought about if they could get Dame and Ben,
but they probably can't.
But I was thinking more as a consolation prize, right? Because if you're Portland, again, like what's in it for you, right? And I think Portland is stubborn enough, and we talked about this last week, to where they think that they've done enough to contend. Like they feel like
who does?
I think Portland feels like that they've done a pretty decent job bringing talent around Damian Lillard this draft. I mean, so they drafted Scott Henderson, right? Scoot Henderson. Yeah, he's basically good combo guard. They feel like that he's going to probably play well alongside Dame.
They definitely didn't think that.
I mean, they got him right, and the reality of it is you're not going to be able to trade him for a superstar veteran. Eventually, will this guy be good? Absolutely, he's going to be good. But do you trade him for like a Paul George? Do you trade him for? I'm trying to think who's still out there, but let's just use Paul George for instance. Paul George is a 33-year-old guy that basically hasn't played above 56 games. He's at the tail end of his career. Yeah, you could bring him in, but do you mortgage your future on trying to get Paul George in there? So it really doesn't balance
I
out.
wouldn't.
I wouldn't. I don't think most people would.
Right.
You know what I mean? And if you look around the league, you look at Siakam up there in Toronto.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, maybe that's a good swap, right?
Mm-hmm.
But you get Siakam and you get Lillard. I mean, it gets you mediocrity, right? It doesn't.
You mean who does? Are you talking about Miami? Or are you talking about
I'm talking about Portland. I'm talking about if they were.
No, Portland needs to go youth movement. Honestly, Portland needs to be the second youngest team in the league. And I'm not trying to be funny because they have some pieces that like their big man is that Nurkic,
Yeah.
whatever his name is. I would trade him too. I would make sure I would make him part of the trade, and I don't want Miami to do this, but I feel like they probably their first round pick, Triple J or 3J, whatever they call him, he could play. Like we've seen it, and I know it's just summer league, but this Orlando kid, I don't know what's buzzing, but this Orlando kid is he can play, yo.
I've been impressed with the players in the competition level in the summer league.
Mm-hmm.
And what it just speaks to, and I think we were talking about this last week when we were talking about Justin Anderson,
Mm-hmm.
and we were talking about the summer league it's just a gang of this talent.
There's talent everywhere.
It's talent
it's
everywhere.
crazy.
Yep. I think you were sharing with me about Gabe Vincent last year about how J. Cole, you know, got him on, and we looked at like you would never know that guy was undrafted if you watch him play. Like he could flat out ball. So that talent level in the NBA, it just runs deep, right? And then that's not to even mention what's overseas. So yeah, I am in agreement there.
So this is what I was saying though, right? So if I'm Portland, I'm asking for, because they don't want Tyler Hero, right? But I'm asking for their first round pick.
Okay.
Right. Probably Duncan Robinson, who's another shooter. Maybe some picks. You could send Nurkic you could send him to Indiana too, or send him to you send him wherever, I don't care.
But you're right, no. And now you're making a lot more sense.
Yeah.
So you start off by saying that Miami does not have enough assets to give Portland. You're absolutely correct.
Right.
They are going to have to figure out, there's got to be some team out there that's willing to unload a veteran that is going to give them some sort of value that they could look at. So I think that's going to be their option. I just don't really see it happening anytime soon. I think it's going to be one of those situations where you've got to really look at the season, assess the season, and then kind of pivot based off of that, based off of what's going on. So let's change gears for a second, because I really, really, really want to get your perspective on this. Let's go to football, right? Okay. Running backs in the NFL. All right, so we got Saquon Barkley, right? So he bought out, right? I think this season had to be the best season that I've seen Saquon play. As far as
really over his rookie year, no.
So look at it. Look at it both ways, right? So not only did he have his most rushing yards, he stayed healthy, and it was a lot of team success, right? I am a firm believer that Danny Dimes does not have the season that he had without Saquon Barkley. And I am also a firm believer that, the Giants were fourth in rushing in the NFL this year, right? So I'm also a firm believer that without Saquon doing that and them really handing the ball to him, they would not have been as successful as they are. So you look at that situation, right?
Right.
They haven't paid the man.
Correct.
Do you so let me ask you this before we get into all the other, the positions and all the other free agents that are there. Would you pay Saquon Barkley?
They should have paid him already.
I agree.
And the crazy thing is he's not even asking for like to break the bank. He just wants, fair pay. I think he was asking for like $15 million a year.
Right.
They want to offer him. I think they offered him either 12 or 13 million. And it's foolishness. I think, to me, one, you're not going to be as good. You're not going to be as good of a team without Saquon Barkley. I think any Giants fan would agree there. I think any sensible person would agree that if you don't have Saquon Barkley, you're definitely not making the playoffs. Forget probably. You're definitely not making the playoffs if you don't have Saquon Barkley. And you're gonna risk that for $2 million, $2 or $3 million. That makes no sense.
Makes zero sense.
So it's like you give them 4 years. Honestly, 4 years, $80-something million. If that's, or 3 years, 80, whatever. 3 years, 80 million is probably like kind of crazy. But whatever you're gonna do, he's asking for 4 years, 60 million or whatever. Give him 4 years, 80, and make it incentive later. It's like, to me, I feel like you're playing with fire when you do things like that. I feel like the Steelers did it with Le'Veon Bell, and neither one of them recovered, honestly. I think Pittsburgh's made the playoffs once since Le'Veon Bell's been gone, and they lost to the Browns. So it was like, yeah, they're not having losing seasons, but you ain't as productive as you was when you had Le'Veon Bell, Antonio Brown, Ben Roethlisberger. You know what I'm saying?
But let's go back there though, right? So the flip side of that is, okay, so Pittsburgh, I think they ultimately paid by not getting that deal done back in the day. But Bell, by holding out, his career was never the same.
Well, he sat out a whole year.
Yeah.
So I think that's the problem. I don't think Saquon's going to hold out. I think holding out a whole year is playing with fire, right? Because my thing is this. I can't remember what the guarantee money was at that time. But right now, the guarantee money is $10 million, which I think is less than what Le'Veon Bell was getting paid for the franchise tag at that time. So the market's gone down, or the money's gone down for running backs when you franchise.
I believe it might have been 7 or 8 when he was.
But he ended up with 14 from the Jets. He ended up
with 14 from the Jets, but I believe it might have been like 7 or 8.
Okay, so let's just say it was 8 on the high side, right? You ain't gonna get that 8. You're never gonna make up that $8 million. So you should have took the money. I think that.
But Le'Veon Bell had a point, right? And I think we would agree that he wasn't the first of his kind, and I don't want to be real disrespectful, but he was like, he did what McCaffrey does now. He was a true dual threat. I mean, of course, I want to pay respect to Marshall Faulk, and it's been other dual threat running backs, but Le'Veon Bell, I mean, he got the job done with receiving and rushing. That's a fair analysis.
Absolutely.
Those 3 to 4 years that he was in Pittsburgh, because I believe he was in the same situation where at the time he was 26, similar to Saquon being 26 now. For those 3 or 4 years that he was in Pittsburgh, he balled out.
Absolutely.
And they ran him. I'm not going to say they ran him into the dirt.
He had a ton of touches.
He had a ton of touches.
Whether it was receptions or
absolutely.
He was, yeah. So no, look. So I agree, and yes, he had a point, but like you said, his career was never the same. Does he care? Maybe he doesn't, right? Because now he's a rapper and a boxer, and whatever. But I think that Derrick Henry in recent years has handled this better than all of these guys. And Derrick Henry's considered, if he's not the best running back in the league, he's considered one of the best, one of the top 3 maybe 4.
I think
right?
it's a fair statement.
Yeah, and so what happened when it was his turn, when he was in this situation, they franchise tagged him. He signed it. He was in the building. He got his deal done before the season even started. So it didn't even matter. And his situation is so similar to Saquon's right now because he had a mediocre quarterback who you didn't really know what he was going to do year to year, and you were one of the top running backs in the league. But he said, "Well, I'm here." He signed it, and that kind of comes from leadership also, right? Because what's the coach, Vrabel? Vrabel he's from New England, and it was boom, 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 boom. He has a program in store. So whether people think that the Titans are going to be sorry this year or not, it doesn't matter. They have Saquon. They have Derrick Henry. They have a couple young receivers. They have Tannehill, and they're gonna be somewhere in the middle.
So, okay, so the situations are similar, right? So I can't take away from anything that you said. I think the only difference, and I know we got some Giants fans watching, I don't know if the Giants have the same confidence in Saquon that the Titans had in Derrick Henry. And I want to tell you, it's not about ability, right? So
injury history.
It's the injury history. And Derrick Henry, some to make the argument, I'm sure somebody on here is going to fact check me. Derrick Henry has been hurt previously, right? He hasn't been
before he got paid?
Yeah.
Not like now. I mean, he gets hurt.
He gets hurt
a bunch now.
Yeah,
I mean,
right.
When he got paid, he had just came off, I think, 1,500 yards or 1,000. But after he got paid, he rushed for 2,000 yards. So,
so this is what I think, and this is all speculation. I think there is a belief that the Giants can use a run by committee system if Saquon Barkley holds out and still get similar production out of him. And I think that they believe
that's why they're gonna get fired.
That they can outsmart the system and not pay Saquon and still get similar production at running back. Because I'm going to tell you, right, it's 2 deals that they had to get done. And it's 2 guys that, in my opinion, balled out this season to the point to where if Daniel Dimes gets his contract, Saquon Barkley damn sure deserves his money. He give it to Daniel Dimes, but now you're holding out on Saquon. So a few assumptions that you can make, right? So my first assumption is you believe that Daniel Dimes can be a good option to where you could possibly win, and you believe that you have your quarterback. Maybe you don't have a superstar quarterback, but you believe if you surround him with the right pieces, you can win. Saquon Barkley, we all know his talent is undeniable, but there's an injury history there. And I don't know if they're sold on that.
So
Henry is okay. He ain't no Antonio Gibson.
So
that's funny.
So I gotta disagree.
Okay.
Because I understand that Saquon has a injury history, right? But I mean, aside from 2020 when he was pretty much hurt the whole year, the year before that, the year after in 2021, he had a bad year, and I guess he missed 4 games. They sat him down. They had a bad O-line. I'm not gonna lie to you, but it's what have you done for me lately? That's what they always talk about when they talk about contracts. And what he done was rush for over 1,300 yards, 10 touchdowns, and almost had as many rushing touchdowns as their quarterback had passing touchdowns. I think that says a lot to me. And to me, if you don't bring back Saquon Barkley, injured or not, you're playing with fire, and you're not gonna win. You're not gonna be competitive, and it's gonna look crazy. You're gonna look crazy.
But let's play devil's advocate, right?
I don't want to.
But let's watch what's going on in the running back market.
Right.
You got Dalvin Cook.
Well, if you don't want to pay Saquon Barkley, you're definitely not gonna pay Dalvin Cook.
Right. So you got Dalvin Cook.
Okay.
That's on the market.
Right.
Would you agree that Dalvin Cook is a top 5 running back in the league right now?
Absolutely.
So nobody has picked him up. So, but you start to think, right? Mm-hmm. So the market for Saquon, right? So you started to think, okay, so he's not getting the deal in New York, and they still got time to get this deal done.
All right, they got 6 days.
They got 6 days to get this deal done. So you look at it, they're not getting the deal done. You look at Dalvin Cook, who's on the open market, that any year, any team should be thrilled to have him. Like, he shouldn't even been a free agent for more than 1 day. The only team that I could think of is maybe 5 teams out there that shouldn't be trying to get their hands on Dalvin Cook. Mm-hmm. The 49ers, because we got McCaffrey. Mm-hmm. I understand Derrick Henry. Mm-hmm. You know, everybody else, I mean, they could probably use a Dalvin Cook. I mean, I understand you guys have Pollard, but
I take Dalvin Cook.
I think any team would take Dalvin Cook.
And I think you're wrong. I think the 49ers and Titans would definitely try and get Dalvin Cook, even with McCaffrey and Henry.
Well, I think with the money,
of course, you're not gonna
got tied up.
Yeah, you're not gonna tie that much money to running backs. I get that, right? And I think that well, we all know that Dalvin Cook is gonna get signed. I feel like they're playing a game of cat and mouse. Him and
the
Hopkins.
Dolphins.
Well, the Dolphins or any of those other teams that's tied. I mean, the Dolphins makes the most sense, right?
So let's go there real quick, because you just mentioned that. I don't want to lose sight of that. DeAndre Hopkins, same boat. I think it's kind of crazy that he's not on the football team.
Yeah, well, I'm not saying, because I remember that rumor a few weeks ago about their package deal and then not, but I think it's more of it's just a cat mouse. Who's gonna budge first, and he wants what he wants as far as like DeAndre Hopkins. He wants the money. He wants to get paid, which he should, because I guess technically he's still a top receiver in the league. But I don't know if Dalvin Cook is so much sold on, I want 14. He was supposed to get 14 million this year. I want 14, 15 million. I think Dalvin Cook will be good with 10, 11 million and on a contender trying to win a Super Bowl. DeAndre Hopkins probably wants to win a Super Bowl, but before he wins a Super Bowl, he wants to get paid. And I mean, you gotta respect it. But I feel like Dalvin Cook will more than likely get signed before camp. And a lot of this could be, I'm just waiting for camp to see what's what. Should these guys have been signed a month ago? Absolutely. But I don't think that the whole running back, there's definitely a lack of respect for running backs.
Absolutely.
Right? Yeah, there's a lack of, but I don't think that's why Dalvin Cook is not signed.
I think so. That's where we will disagree. Mm-hmm. I think that's why Dalvin Cook is not signed. I think it's disrespectful to all running backs in the position. I mean, think about it, right? So we both agreed that Dalvin Cook is a top 5 NFL running
I mean,
back.
He's rushed for over 1,000 in the last 4 years.
Do you believe that it would be a top 5 quarterback that would sit on the market that long?
Oof.
Do you believe that's a top 5 cornerback?
Corner?
That would sit on the market. Do you believe that it's a top 5 offensive tackle or offensive guard that would sit on the market that long? If it was a top 5 receiver, and maybe you can make the argument that DeAndre Hopkins.
There's more good running backs in the league than there are good quarterbacks.
Okay,
there's more good receivers than there are good. So my thing is, you can kind of get away with. It's crazy. Even though we just said everything we said, or I said everything I said about Saquon, you could get away with not having a superstar running back and being successful in the league than not having a superstar quarterback or having a good quarterback.
And that's why I think the position is devalued, right? So,
absolutely.
So like you said, and we mentioned it, and I brought it up in the beginning. I do believe the Giants feel that they can have a running back by committee,
but they can't because they don't have that guy at quarterback.
I think they believe they have that guy.
I think that they was like, well, he's here already, and can we get better on the open market, right? I personally think that. I mean, there were a bunch of look at the quarterbacks that were on Baker Mayfield, Derek Carr, Jimmy G.
But those guys got jobs like that. Those guys didn't.
Well, not necessarily. To an extent, but Derek Carr was on the market for quite some time. He didn't sign like immediately. But in regards to the Giants were like, well, I mean, we got Danny Dimes. He's younger than all of these guys, and probably has the same. I mean, we could get a little bit more out of him because he could run than Jimmy G. All of these hash. So it's just like I understand why they gave him a contract, but $40 million to me is still crazy. But I get it, and I feel like he's overpaid? Yes. Do I feel so? If you look at somebody like Jimmy G, look at the type of contracts that these guys got. If he's hurt going into training camp, he's out of there. Right? So the Ravens, they know what quarterbacks are coming in the draft next year.
Right.
So then you got Derek Carr. Look who else was on the market. You still need a quarterback.
Oh no,
you
absolutely need a quarterback.
So quarterbacks are scarce. I know last year we said that the NFL as a whole is better quarterback wise than it was, say, 15 years ago. Like most teams have their guys at quarterback. Well, you still have those 8 or 9 teams that don't have their guy at quarterback, and now you got to get a retread. You got to get a Jimmy G, or you got to go get a Derek Carr. You got to get a Baker Mayfield because ain't nobody else there. I'm like, do you think the Tampa Bay Buccaneers wanted to get Baker Mayfield? There wasn't nobody else there. So it was like,
but I mean, and I do always feel that that's been the case. And on be honest, I kind of got this concept by Jerry Jones, right? On be honest, right? So we were talking. He was asked about Tony Romo, and it was back when Tony Romo was playing, and he said, "Look, who else am I going to put back there?" Like, and he pulled up his stats and he regurgitated his stats, and he was like, "Look, you think top 5 quarterbacks just fall out the sky? Like, yeah, you could say that this guy's not clutch, but who are you going to put back there to play better?" And I guess I'm bringing this point up because at the time, Tony Romo, he used to take a ton of beatings, right? Mm-hmm. But it made me kind of evaluate. Well, you look at his stats and you look at everything and you say, he is right, and you kind of almost see it with Dak. We can talk as much mess about Dak, but who else are you going to get to be back there? I mean, we look at Danny Dimes. He had pretty decent season. Wasn't nothing super spectacular with it. But if you're the Giants, who else are you going to put back there? You know what I mean? So I think you're right. The disparity in talent at quarterback is there's a lot more disparity in that position than it is running back. And I think people do think that you could plug or play with running back, but I think any team could use Dalvin Cook. And to see that he's not signed, Curtis, I think he might still be listening. I mean, he brought up Antonio Gibson. I mean, the Commanders should have been stalking Dalvin Cook to try to get him on there. And I know they got the rookie, or he was a rookie last year, Robinson. But, I mean, Dalvin Cook can run circles around Robinson. Robinson can be that second back, so it is what it is.
So let me try and I'm going to try and play this, right, because we had a conversation, and I feel like this is going to – you know what? You got winner of the week. Let's do your winner of the week first.
Okay. And
then we get into what I got to talk about, because – we might not be friends after this. All right, now let's go.
No, you're a winner. No, you're a winner. No, you're a winner. No, you're a winner.
All right, so my winner of the week this week is Bobby Huggins. If you don't know, he was the West Virginia men's basketball coach. He was the coach for might have been over 30 years or whatnot. But recently, he's been in the news. He had a slur, they said, on TV, ended up basically having to take some sensitivity training or whatnot. And then he was pulled over for a DUI or suspicion of a DUI. And the University of West Virginia decided that it was time to part ways with Mr. Huggins. But that's not why he is my winner of the week. He is my winner of the week because he feels like he should have his job back. And based off of some of the things that he's been doing the last couple of years in regards to the stuff that I just mentioned, it was like, what world are you living in? And, if you listen to him, he sincerely thinks that he should have his job back after everything that he's done over the past couple of months, man. What are your thoughts about that? I think it's hilarious.
So I think what kind of first of all, this reeks of privilege. Okay, this is reeks of white privilege, but I understand why he's doing this. I feel like with this firing, is he not supposed to get paid or something? It's like something to do with the money. I think that has that plays a part, and I feel like he feels like some people have gotten away with worse, which may possibly be true, but you are a college basketball coach for a Power 5 school, and so you offended a whole
community.
Yes, and you're getting DUIs, and it wasn't even. They were like a week or two apart. It wasn't even like it was like this happened in January, and this happened in like March. This going to happen on like May 1st and like May 13th or something like. It's like, dude, you're not. When you get in trouble once, you should start keeping a low profile. You should start, going like, all right, let me just chill. And we're not stupid. Things happen. Most people that drink and then start driving think that they're good. Right. You think like he probably said, yeah, I'm good. I can do X, Y, and Z. And then and I get home, I sleep it off, yada, yada, yada. And he probably was swearing. He probably wasn't even doing much.
Yeah, and you know, I'm not going to down him for making mistakes.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just a little bit surprised that he's really pleading his claim to like they're going to give him his job back. Like it's like yo, the
Right.
damage has been done, man. I mean, that's a wrap. So I wish him the best of luck, but yeah, he's got to quit. He's got to stop.
Yeah,
Right
and I mean, how you gonna tell these guys don't drink and drive, and you're doing it?
yeah. So no, he's definitely got to look at himself.
So I saw something on social media a few days ago. I want to say it might have been Saturday. And you got a group chat. We talk about music all the time. And yes, that's where we're going. So I'm trying to find the actual clip, and I'm hoping that I can. Ultimately, the guy in the clip compared the rapper Fabulous's career to Carmelo Anthony. He made, to me, I feel like he made some really, 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 really good points. I felt like the comparison was fair. It wasn't slandering Fabulous nor Carmelo. My good friend over here took it as disrespect. And the thing is, I don't even think Melo was his guy initially. I don't even, Melo wasn't his guy when he was in Denver. He didn't even care about Melo. Amari was his guy, so it's like all of a sudden now he wants to disrespect somebody who I feel like is my guy, and I wasn't getting upset, but I was like, you're not gonna like disrespect this guy, and then I asked you to battle. In a battle, when I use this guy, you use whoever you name. I think he named J. Cole. He named Kendrick Lamar. He named Lil Wayne, if I'm not mistaken. I can't even remember. And I said, you can take any of them, and I'll battle you. And he declined. He said no. He said, I don't want to do that. It's the battle. He got lyrics. So whatever.
But I rebutted, and I said who I wanted to choose.
You said Jadakiss.
Yeah, what do you?
But Jadakiss had not appeared at all in this debate at all. He waited like 30 minutes later and said, how about Jadakiss?
So this is where the disrespect for the guy that made the comparison comes into play, right? And shout out to the guy because
you want me trying to find it?
Well, I saw what he was trying to do, right? But where I thought it was a bit disrespectful is he compared the Olympics to a mixtape. You don't understand what he's trying to say.
First of all, no. Give full context when you say, because when you say, no. Give full context. You say, he's just trying to make the Olympics sound like a
he did.
That makes it sound messed up, but that's not what he was saying. Go ahead, yo.
All right. So look, right? So look, right? The guy says that basically Fabulous dominates mixtapes. Carmelo was Olympian. Their careers were very similar. I disagree because I think that to be an Olympian, you've got to be a superior athlete.
No, you don't.
You
do not. Are you kidding me?
To be on the basketball Olympic team, you have to be the best of the best representing your country.
That is false.
A mixtape.
That is false.
A mixtape. I have friends that have mixtapes. Like a mixtape, yes, Fabulous
quality mixtapes. There's been bums on the Olympic team.
Not
for the United States.
Not to the level.
Kelvin.
Not to the level of some of the people that I've seen make mixtapes. Now Fabulous. So Fabulous. Look, man, he has this right. He is one of the kings of mixtapes, right? I'm not going to anoint him the one, but I think if it's a Mount Rushmore of mixtapes, he definitely goes up there, right? Lyricists, he's up there. Mount Rushmore of lyricists as rappers, he's there, right? But that's where it goes, man. And I think that's really not disrespectful. I think that I love Fabulous. I've been listening to Fab all day. I've been listening to Fab since we've had this argument. But let's not do this, man. Carmelo Anthony is a national champion.
Why do you keep on bringing up college?
Because we keep forgetting about that, right?
No, we don't.
He's a 3-time Olympic gold medalist. He's I don't know how many all-time.
He has 4 Olympic medals.
Yeah, well, 4 because he's got the bronze too. I mean, that's got to count for something. He's carried the most valuable, easily the greatest franchise in the NBA. The New York Knicks.
Hey, we about to hang up. I know.
Yeah, he's a star player, and I mean, easily. I mean, the mecca of basketball. I mean, that was him. You know what I mean? Like that was Melo. So to downgrade him, and
nobody's downgrading him,
and to say, and for some guy, seemed like he was a decent guy too until he made that comment. For him to just go out there and just downplay my guy Melo and compare his basketball career to a mixtape.
He didn't compare.
You gotta be shitting me, man.
Now you cursing. See?
Yeah, it made me curse. When I heard that, I was like, "Damn, yo, he's real disrespectful." And what makes it so bad is nothing worse than a person that's not trying to be disrespectful, but being disrespectful. Because he legitimately thought he got that off.
He did. And here's the thing. So what we're not going to do is not act like there are a ton of artists that have made millions off of mixtapes. Fab is one of them that's made millions off of mixtapes. 50 Cent is another, made millions off of mixtapes. Lil Wayne made these guys can have concerts off of their mixtapes. Like, let's not act like what the guy is saying. Oh, this is what the guy's saying. This is what the guy's saying, right? And I'm gonna try and explain it as best to my ability, right? Because we still having fun with this, but Scott is a piece of work, man. So what he's saying is, like, championships are like classic albums, right? They're like classic albums, right? And me is probably one of the biggest Fab fans, will say that I like Fab's albums, but he doesn't have a classic album. Melo doesn't have a championship. He doesn't, right? Now you look at mixtapes, right? And again, I think you're looking at it like, dog, we got friends that record mixtapes on their phones and think that they're doing something. No, I get that part, but pros are pros. Like, we know people that play basketball that ain't in the NBA. So we know people that are damn good that's not in the NBA, right? So we got to understand, like, the field that we're playing on, right? So now when you look at the mixtape game, Fab has classic mixtapes, right? Melo is an Olympian who in the Olympics in the world, Melo is the man. It ain't. Yeah. So Melo is that's where the equivalent comes. Neither one of them have a classic album, right? But so don't look at like, oh, he's saying a mixtape and he's trying to poop on Melo because he said mixtape and mixtape ain't mixtapes. Honestly, at one point, mixtapes was more popular than the damn albums.
Okay, so this is where we disagree, right? I view more as a mixtape as like street ball. So maybe he's a street ball legend. Maybe he's a Rucker Park legend, or maybe he's a Ferry Farm legend. We're talking about, or maybe he's an and one guy. You know what I mean? Maybe he's got handles on the court. That's what I compare a mixtape to.
No,
a mixtape is.
You thinking like, an N1 mixtape? No, we're talking about. You got to look at the whole platform. So we know guys we know guys or heard of like the top artists, the top. You got the Jay-Z's, Lil Wayne, 50 Cent, Nas, anybody that's the upper echelon of musicians, right?
Okay.
Then you have your ball players, the LeBrons, KD, MJ, Steph, Duncan, your upper echelon of. Then you got your middle tier. We do this all the time with tiers and all of this stuff. And it's the same with music. I know you tried to get under my skin. So let me tell y'all real quick. He tried to get under my skin on Saturday because said, well, Melo's a first ballot Hall of Famer. He tried to use a sports Hall of Fame and compare it to the music Hall of Fame.
No, I just said that. I said Fab is a Hall of Famer just on a down year. Melo is a first.
So y'all see how he's trying to be disrespectful. You see how he's trying to be, and that's not the whatever.
Well, it's not fair. It's not fair to Melo, right? You know
how? He never won a championship. Melo's never been so. We'll check this out. If we'll use music and we'll keep music and sports together, right? A good defender, we'll say a good scorer is a good lyricist, right?
Okay.
A good scorer, is a good lyricist. A defender could be somebody that always has a good beat. Their production is always on point, so they defend. Then you have intangibles like you get a person that jumps high. I don't know, that could dunk real good. That's a person that knows how somebody like a 50 Cent that can promote the hell out of themselves because you jump high, you can promote your records, whatever. Now if we continue, you can continue to create comparisons to the two. You still gonna have guys that can do something really, really well and some that just can't. Like Melo can't defend. Melo, he can't.
So this is where the argument lost me the other day, and it continues to lose me.
Oh my God.
so Fab, and in all respect, right? I like Fab, respect him as an artist, but I don't know if everybody feels the same way that we feel about Fab. Everybody's not a huge fan of the mixtape.
Everybody like who?
Like just in general. We'll just say music fans in general. So
I think Fab's well respected.
I think he's more well respected for your deeper hip hop heads. I think the people that really understand hip hop respect him and they know what he does to the culture. Can we agree there? But I don't know if he necessarily has the commercial popularity that he has. Not necessarily. Melo, no matter what, most basketball fans have to acknowledge his greatness. I don't know if everybody acknowledges Fab's greatness, and that's where.
Whoa, come on, wait. Let me interject, please. You're wrong, and this is why. Your casual basketball fan, and not even your basketball fan, just the casual person that may watch basketball knows Melo because of Lala, not because he can shoot the damn basketball. They know Melo because of Lala. I guarantee you that your wife
knows who Melo.
No, listen, she'll know because of Lala.
No, she knew.
Well, she watches sports, but your average. I don't even want to say woman. Your average person that may just watch the finals, or is a person that just watches. They may watch basketball here and there.
Disrespect.
No. I'm not. Let me finish. I'm not saying that Melo's not popular. Melo's not LeBron popular. Fab's been on more commercials than Melo.
Yeah, but so that's more. So that's more of a personality thing, right? So let's dive in that. And you might be right. Melo is more of a quiet individual.
I think Fab is too.
Yeah. So they both don't really are not really out there. I didn't like the comparison. And
it's a great comparison,
and that's what it boils down to.
They're both quiet. They're both quiet. They both are scorers, right? They both could be street if they need. Listen, do you know how mad Melo got when KG was talking about Lala and said she tastes like
Cheerios?
yeah. He might be quiet, but nah, come on, dog. He was waiting outside the lot. He by the bus. He wasn't even by.
Well, I mean, you got to see somebody that is going to speak. I mean, especially since he used to mess with his wife.
Who did?
Kevin Garnett.
Well,
yeah. So that's why I really kind of got under his skin. I mean, you can't just disrespect me like that. He used to mess with.
And it wouldn't even matter. It don't even if they never mess with each other. You know what I'm saying? And you can't. That's his wife. And KG was doing what he was doing. He was trying to just get a competitive advantage.
So we could agree here, right? Mm-hmm. And we'll disagree on this, but we could both agree that both people are probably disrespected. You know what I mean? Fab is maybe he doesn't get the respect that you think that he deserves. And I don't think Melo gets his respect that he deserves. And this is where we'll just have to agree to disagree there.
I don't want to. You are disrespectful. But nonetheless, I think I like both for their respective careers. I think Melo's he's easily a first ballot Hall. He's one of the greatest scorers ever. You know, I almost went as far as pulling up the stats of Fab's like recording stats and Melo's and doing the but I was like, I'm not doing all of that because what ends up happening is it makes it look like you don't like one of the other people when you're trying to just make a point. And I didn't want to do that because I like Melo, I like Fab, and I didn't think it was disrespectful. I thought that it was actually a pretty good comparison.
So this is the problem with Melo. He didn't have a lot of playoff success. He had regular season success, but he didn't have a lot of playoff success. So with that in basketball, well, in any sport, right? Mm-hmm. It's hard to elevate your status when you don't have, because we do judge based off of how many rings you got. But
which
when you're
shouldn't be the end all be all, right. But yeah.
But if you don't have any rings, people are pretty comfortable if your teams were there. So we'll use Chris Webber, for example, right? Mm-hmm. Even though he never quite got over that hump,
right? gonna get up out of here. We'll talk about the cornerback beef that happened between Sauce Gardner and some of these other guys. This is off the record. Hey, Scott, you got it. This is off the record. I'm Anthony Adebayo.
Boy, Scotty B.
Yeah.
Anthony Adebayo.
With you there, but if you're a coach, do you take that chance? Yes.
You can reach us at the Off the Record Show at gmail.com. Anthony Adebayo and the most accurate sports coverage. Scotty B's Fantasy 5.
We're different from any other sports.
His sophomore year. Comes back and says, you know what?
And your boy, Scotty B.